Hi guys, I just wanted to give you some quick tips on winter commuting with a bicycle. Because people like Durianrider give you very solid advice when it comes to buying your first road bike, but what he doesn't elaborate on is commuting through snow or in winter seasons, because simply he lives in Australia and not in a four-season country. First of all, some safety things. Of course, you should always wear a helmet, that's self-explanatory, but also I don't recommend to wear cycling shoes when in the snow, because the chance that you just will slip and fall is very high, and you can't go fast anyway, so there's no point in wearing cycling shoes, because it's not a performance ride, it's more like getting from A to B. So I recommend buying some Shimano A530s, for example, to be able to cycle in sneakers or normal shoes. And that's also why I don't recommend buying those fancy winter shoes, because you simply never know what happens with the weather. Usually if it's like fresh, wet snow, then it's quite fine if it's not too high, but then sometimes later on the day or whatever, if the temperature shifts just a little, the snow, or even worse, the water under the snow gets frozen, then it can get very dangerous. You also have to look out for different street surfaces, especially like zebra crossings where you don't see the white lines anymore, which are very slippery. Also, if you actually have a bike, then you have to get the best tires possible. I'm running the Continental 4 Seasons, which have surprising good grip, but of course you can fall in them as well. So the stock tires that come, or at least that came with my road bike, which is a Giant Defy, were very crappy, and I'd actually recommend to change them immediately, or at least if you want to run them out a bit, only in the summer, like when it's good weather. Even when it's only raining and the street is wet, it's quite dangerous. Also, there's actually two roads you can go. Either you buy a secondary bike, which is what most people do. So they have like a mountain bike for the winter season and a road bike for summer. But if you only want to own one bike, either because of your budget or for whatever reasons, then I would recommend to get like a hybrid, like a cyclocross bike or something, because the road bike isn't really appropriate for winter commuting. And if you do want to get a road bike anyway, because it's so much fun during summer, then I would recommend checking the tire clearance that is possible. So for this model that I have, unfortunately 25mm tires is the maximum, and I can't run 28mm tires, which is a bummer, because as you can see here by this footage, I would actually greatly appreciate some 28mm tires. Also make sure that your visibility is good. You can wear like a vest or with like reflectors on them, or make sure your bike lights are charged. And also, if you're considering to buy a good bicycle, I wouldn't buy a really expensive bike. So no carbon for sure, because that's just asking for failure, because carbon of course snaps more easy, it breaks, and it's the same as for the cycling shoes, because yes, you're faster with a carbon, perhaps with an expensive bike or with cycling shoes, but it just isn't as safe. Especially the handlebars should be alloy, but also the whole frame. I wouldn't want to ride a carbon bike in these conditions. And when deciding on the group set, I wouldn't go too expensive either, because there are higher tiers like Ultegra or Dura-Ace mainly are expensive because they're lighter in weight, and not because they are more responsive in shifting or something. So you you have to expect that you have to go slower than usual on winter commutes anyway. So you don't need an fancy, very lightweight bike or equipment. It's just more about the safety of your bike and bike parts, and your safety, of course. Another thing that's actually the most annoying thing about winter commutes is that you have to clean your bike regularly, because otherwise your group set will just rust to shreds. So the best thing would be to clean it after every ride and make sure that you use some oil. I personally use Squirt because it's biodegradable. But make sure that your chain set is always like lubed, because the weather really wears heavy on it. First of all, it's quite wet. Second of all, the snow will just make your bike a lot more dirty, like you get a lot more sand in the gearings. Also, the salt and what people put on the streets isn't really great for the metal either. So I hope this helped you. I think the most important part would be either get a mountain bike or a cyclocross, like something that runs 28mm tires at least, if not 30 or even bigger. Yeah, so happy winter commuting, and ride safe, guys, ride safe.